Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and I want to say welcome to all of our wonderful people visiting us today. If you are new, well, we have a series every week, usually from Saturday, and we end it Friday. Today, we're on Sunday, which is the second day of the series. Again, my name is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and we're talking about What's on Your Mind series, and this is episode number 2. If you are one of my trusted and loyal subscribers, well, welcome back. It is so wonderful to have you here, and maybe some of the new people will actually decide to become some of my loyal subscribers as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're talking about what's on your mind. What I'd like you to do right now is if you've ever asked yourself that question or asked somebody else that question, go ahead and just give me a like, a support, whether you're on my Facebook page, John C. Morley Serial Entrepreneur Facebook page, whether you're on my LinkedIn page, whether you're on John C. Morley Serial Entrepreneur YouTube page, or whether you're on my Twitch page, Twitter page, or Periscope page. That'd be great. And also comment below. What did you ask somebody when you said, what's on your mind? Have you ever asked somebody, what is on your mind? Okay. It's a great question, right? And sometimes asking that question is not intended to do much except maybe open up the floor for questions and to allow you to bridge a gap with someone. So when we say, what's on your mind? The power of a question is so amazing. And so when you ask somebody what's on your mind, first thing that's going to pop up is whatever they're thinking about. Now, if it's a topic that they don't feel comfortable sharing with you, then they're going to say nothing or I don't have anything on my mind. When you ask somebody what's on your mind, that's a great way to get to know them. Maybe you're meeting somebody and maybe they're pondering and they're doing one of these and you're kind of like looking and like, and you're noticing they're watching something. You're like, oh, what's on your mind? Well, I was watching this show and I got an idea that maybe we should do something like that to expand our business. So the conversation can go all over the place. The thing about what's on your mind is that it's a great conversation opener. But the other great thing about what's on your mind is it really helps us to understand some mind-boggling questions, right? If somebody says to you, what's on your mind, what should you do? Should you tell them what's on your mind? Should you say, hey, I'm okay, nothing's on my mind? Or should you come out and say, what's on your mind? Well, that wouldn't be a great thing to do, right? And so when somebody asks you what's on your mind, what do you say? How do you answer somebody? Well, if it's somebody that you may not know so well, you might come back and say something like, do you really want to know what's on my mind? Or are you just asking that question to be polite? Now, when we say being polite, we're talking about a social cultural thing. And so when you answer somebody, well, do you really want to know? Yes, I'm asking you. Okay. Well, I'm thinking about my relative who's in the hospital, and I've been a little down because of, them going in the hospital, and it's around the holidays, and I don't know what to do. And, family doesn't really want to do too much because we have a relative in the hospital. Now, you asked what's on their mind, and they said, do you really want to know? And you said yes. And you need to then be honest and sincere and listen to what they tell you. Okay? Pretty neat, right? Now, in a rare circumstance, some people might just not answer you, which is rude. Okay? But people may do that. Some people won't ask what's on your mind because you know what? They don't really care. They're self-centered people that are just out there for themselves. And I have a philosophy. It's called help enough people get what they want, and then you'll get eventually what you want. But you have to do it from your core and do it without any malicious intent. You really want to help them. Um, when you ask maybe your children what's on their mind, you might get all kinds of answers like, oh, SpongeBob, or what's on TV, or you might get, oh, my friend told me this. And now you're trying to be polite, but there's a point where you might say, gee, I don't know if I want to know all that. And when somebody says to you, what's on your mind? If someone asks you what's on your mind, a lot of people will say nothing. Some people will actually have nothing on their mind, but then they feel like, I don't know, they just, how are you? Great to see you here tonight. Thank you for popping by. Really appreciate it. Uh, what's on your mind is meant to be an opening question, right? And so when we want to get to know somebody, we don't ask yes or no questions. So if we say something like, are you feeling okay today? Yes, no, or maybe. Or if you say, do you like ice cream? They say yes or no. It's a very closed question. But if I say, what do you like for dessert? It's an open ended question. When you have an open ended question, there's more room for a dynamic conversation and thus to build rapport with you. Pretty cool, right? Now, if it's your friend and you're saying what's on their mind, they may come back and tell you something that's not really relevant just because they just want to piss you off, because that's just how your friend is. They don't really want to get serious or share something. And you can say, look, are you my friend? Can I share this with you or not? And they're like, I'm just joshing you. Well, do you really want to help me? And, some people just want to screw around with you, unfortunately. When you say what's on your mind, a lot goes through. But there's something else about what's on your mind. And that is, if you're doing something else, okay, and maybe you're at the office or you're home, but usually you're at the office, and you're working with a client, but all of a sudden you're focusing on what you're going to have for dinner, or you're focusing on when you're going to leave. You see, you're not present in the moment. And I say, well, John, I just want to get home. I want to get out of here. I get it. But if you will embrace the present moment and give your best, put your best foot forward, you're going to find that the time is going to fly by. Plus, your mind is going to want to stay focused. You see, the reason that you're swaying all over the place is you're not in the moment. You're not really trying to help the person. You're like, oh, I want to get this item, or I want to buy something. And then all of a sudden, your mind is tuned them out. Like, you're hearing them, you're looking at prices, and then you're like, I wonder what my wife's making for dinner. I wonder what my significant other's making for dinner. I wonder what my friend is doing tonight, or I wonder where we're going to go tonight to hang out. You're being rude to the person who's your client, but you're also not giving full potential that you have, because you're off in Never Land. All right. So when I say the question, what's on your mind? I want to know. You're an employee working for me, and I said, well, what's on your mind? Oh, nothing. Nothing? Nothing's on my mind. Well, something should be on your mind. Nothing. Nothing should be on my mind. Well, what should be on your mind is how you're going to solve this problem. And when they think about it, they're like, oh, nothing's on my mind. I'm not doing anything wrong. And they don't realize that you're actually trying to help them. A lot of times when I coach people, I say, well, what's on your mind? And if they say, I don't have anything on my mind, I say, well, you know what? If nothing's on your mind, what would be on your mind if there was something on your mind? And they're like, huh? I know there's nothing on your mind right now, but what would be on your mind if something was going to be on your mind? And really, what that does is get them to share something that would be on their mind, but really is on their mind. They just don't want to share it with you. That's pretty cool. That's really, really awesome. So, when different people ask you what's on your mind, you may respond different ways. If your parents respond, what's on your mind, you might say, oh, nothing, I'm good. If a friend responds, what's on your mind, you might say, gee, I'm thinking about dating this person. Or, I just dated this person and I'm wondering how it went. If it's a teacher or a professor, they say, what's on your mind? And you say nothing, when meanwhile you're thinking about this date or you're thinking about the fun, the frat party. That's not something you're going to tell the professor, right? So, how and when you convey things depends on who you're communicating with. Okay. Um, it depends on the relationship you have, right? How do you respond when somebody texts you something and says, what's on your mind? Hmm. And maybe you'll respond with something that's actually truthful. And if the person doesn't take it seriously, you know that this friendship or this relationship, it's going nowhere. If you ask somebody you're dating what's on their mind and the person responds with nothing, don't ask that question again, unless you're really close with them. Because when you ask what's on their mind, some people feel you're trying to pry into their personal life. But when I say what's on your mind, I'm just wondering how you're doing and is there something you want to share with me? It's not like I'm trying to get into your personal life. I just want to know what's in your mind. You seem troubled or you seem really deep in thought. And I was just curious, what is it you're thinking about? Oh, John, I read this great book. Oh, what book did you read? I read The Pit and the Pendulum. You ever read that book? Yeah, I read that book. It's a good book by Edgar Allan Poe. And I was just thinking about it. And I was thinking about, the difference between that book and how they went through the challenges and how we go through challenges in life. I said, yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it is. So I think when you say what's on your mind and somebody else says what's on your mind, the first thing is people want to do is they want to be defensive and say, oh my gosh, I don't want to tell you what's on my mind. It's none of your business. When somebody might just say that purely, good morning. How are you? They're sitting down, they're having a cup of coffee, nobody's saying anything. They're watching the TV or they're really deep in thought. It's like, hey, Paul, what's on your mind? No, nothing. You're really into that TV program. Oh, yeah, I was just watching the stocks and I just wonder what they're going to do and which ones I should invest in. And that's fine. That's pretty easy going. When somebody doesn't want to share something with you, it's usually because it has a risk factor of them being afraid of how you may view them. That's why people don't want to share what's on your mind. A lot of times you'll ask somebody new what's on your mind, and it's more conversational, right? Maybe you're at a networking event, you say, well, what's on your mind? Oh, the food sucks here. Or I was just hoping that they'd come around with some more chicken, or I hope there's going to be a big dessert buffet or whatever. And so those are fun things, and you can kind of, yeah, I really go for dessert too. I hope they have the triple layer chocolate cake. Yeah, me too. And you found a commonality, right? But there's some people that are very close minded. You say, "What's in your mind? Why do you want to know?" Well, I just was making conversation. Oh, and that can be a problem. So if somebody takes your head off because you just ask them what's on your mind, they may have a problem and say, "Gee, I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to offend you." No, 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 it's okay. I thought you were trying to pry and get something out of me. No, I'm just trying to have conversation. When somebody asks you what's on your mind, and it's somebody you know, they're usually asking that because they care about you and they want to know what it is that they might be able to do to help you. If somebody that you don't know asks that question, then they're trying to see, is this the right time to talk to you? Maybe there's an employee that works for you or you manage, and all of a sudden, let's say I'm doing something, and maybe they see me deep in thought, and the person might say, "Well, Chicho, what's on your mind?" And you could come back and say, "Well, that's an interesting question. I was just curious why you asked me that, and I'll be happy to share it." Most people don't think about that. And it's like, well, I saw you assembling the stuff, and I see you're really intent, and I was just curious what creative, inspirational thoughts were going through that amazing brain of yours. Well, I was wondering what would happen if we changed these circuits and we inverted them and then we added a different power source. So sometimes people will share when you stroke their ego, but I want to be very clear with you. You need to make sure that you're doing this for humane reasons and for reasons that are going to help you become a better version of yourself and help everyone else become better versions of themselves. Because if you're doing this to try to figure out where their weak points are or where their buttons are or where you can push them or pin them so that you can abuse them or use them or get them to do things for you for free, then that's going to backfire in your face. So when you hear somebody say, "What's on your mind?" you might hear that if you're in line somewhere for a long time and you're all waiting for maybe tickets for something, and a stranger might come and say, "Gee, just wondering, so what's on your mind?" "Oh, I was just wondering that if the time we get up to the ticket booth, are they actually going to have any tickets? Or are they just going to close and tell us they have no more shows today and they're going to have to give us a different date?" That's a possibility. And you kind of create a bridge. Thus, the next time you ask a question to someone, remember to keep it open. Because when you keep it closed, you cause the other person to give you a yes or no and shut down. If I ask you the question, "Did you have a good day?" You tell me yes, or you tell me no. If I say, "What was your day like?" "Oh, first in the morning when I got started, there was like 17 inches of snow on the ground. I got out of my driveway with my four-wheel truck. I was able to get all the way down my driveway. And then I get to the traffic light where I normally have to get out of my development, and I can't make a left because the traffic lights aren't working. So I had to make a right, and it took me 5 extra minutes because I had to drive around town the other way and make all right-hand turns because all the traffic lights in town were out, and they had these manual stop signs that were at every intersection, and people had to literally stop and be a lot more courteous and observant. Oh, wow. Thus, when you ask what's on your mind, it's a genuine question to become what? Genuinely interested in the other person. But if you're asking that question for a selfish motive or one that will try to propel you forward and push the other one back or harm the other person, that's not a great thing, right? It's not a great thing. So before I sign off here tonight, and I know we're just into the morning of the last day of January, which is Monday, and we started this on Sunday night. When somebody asks you what's on your mind, don't take their head off. And if you ask somebody the question, "What's on your mind?" and they take your head off, you could say, "Oh, no problem. Sorry I asked you. I didn't mean anything by it." And they're either going to be like, "Yeah, yeah, it's okay." Or they may come back to you later and say, "Yeah, I'm sorry I took your head off. I just got a lot of stuff going on at home and in the middle of a divorce. And, everything just gets me really edgy." No problem. It's cool. And when you just let it roll off your back or off your body, just like water in the shower, they're going to be like, "Hey, he's cool. I can talk to him." That's what it's about. Let your life flow, and a lot more will come into it. You know, what we put our attention on is very important in what manifests in our life. Therefore, energy, we are going to be putting you guys into a timeout here. We have some people here that are spamming, trying to spam the chat. And again, we do scan them, LOVEFA. We have blocked you. We have reported you to Google because XYZ is actually the parent company of Google. Most people don't know that. And I'm thinking you must be a bot because the comments you make don't seem like they're human. So I think you're probably just a bot and you're just trying to get traffic. So we're just going to make sure that you're on our block list. Now that I got interrupted there. So when we think about, being genuine and we think about what we want in our life, things like what's on your mind is a creative, playful way to engage someone, to communicate with you if they feel comfortable. We've said this before, right? Energy goes, energy flows where attention goes. Energy flows where attention goes. If you can let the energy in your life just sort of flow in and flow out, and be open to possibilities, and be open to questions like what's on your mind, and just take it playfully and not seriously, then, my friends, you will develop not only rapport with the other person, but you will start to learn one of the key building blocks to start and maintain any relationship for long-term success, whether that's business, friendship, relationship, romantic relationship, or what have you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you to please go ahead and tag some of your friends, colleagues, and associates, and then go ahead and share this out to everyone you know on all your social media channels. I'll be so grateful for that. And of course, if you go to youtube.com, type in my name, John space E space MORLEY space serial entrepreneur, look for the key phrase, help keep our content free. Below that, click on the PayPal link and make the choice tonight or early this morning to buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a sandwich, or a glass of water. We'll be so grateful with every penny and dollar we receive that we'll immediately invest into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new staff, new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational content to inspire your life and to give you the direction to improve the quality of your life and help you become a better version of yourself and help everyone else become better versions of themselves. Again, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been an amazing privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you this evening through the morning, as it is every single day that I'm on with you. And I'll be back tomorrow, which is Monday, and we'll be in episode 3 of the series, What's on Your Mind? And we'll be talking more about that question, and we'll be dissecting it all week so we can share the kinds of responses you're going to get and how you're going to react, and what else does that mean, what's on your mind? We'll talk more about that. Have yourself a great night or a great morning wherever you are.